Hello, my fellow creators, and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's time for the March 2026 Sheetload of Cards. Now, in case you're not familiar, the Sheetload of Cards sketch is a sketch, cutting guide, and full supply list provided free to all of Call Me Crafty Al's subscribers. I'll be sure to link to Call Me Crafty Al's channel in the description box below. On the first of the month, Alicia of the Call Me Crafty Al channel shares the newest sketch, and on the second of the month, she shares a full process video showing how she uses the sketch, including any tips or tricks she may have. Now, the creative team also shares our version of how we use the sketch on the second of the month. I will have a link to a playlist in the description box so you can follow along with all the creative team members for the March 2026 Sheetload of Cards sketch. If you decide to play along, be sure to use the hashtags on the sketch when sharing on social media so we can see what all our crafty friends have made. The Sheetload of Cards sketch shares what supplies you'll need, how many cards the Sheetload will yield, and this month it yields 8. The dimensions, in case you want to make just one card. This month there is a channel member bonus. So if you want to get this SVG file for the CS2 piece, head on over to Call Me Crafty Al's channel and check out the channel member option. Now, page 2 is your cutting guide, and that'll show you how to cut all your pattern paper and any cardstock you'll need for this sketch. So this month, I decided to use up this Hello Easter 6x6 paper pad from Echo Park. Now, I know that this month's sketch calls for 12 by 12 paper, but I'm trying to get through more of my 6x6 paper because I think I probably have more 6x6 than 12 by 12. And one of my goals this year is to use up more of my stash of pattern paper. Now, I got to tell you, I made more than one sheet load, guys. I used up every sheet of paper in that paper pad. And by doing that, I was able to make a total of 29 cards. So I'm going to lay them all out here and you can take a peek at what they look like. Now, I did make these all birthday cards, and for the sentiment, I used this older stamp set I had in my stash. It's the MFT's Birthday Greetings. So that's an older one, which it's not anywhere that I could find available. And I used a die from Spellbinders. Let me show you that one. So I used this scalloped, what is it called? I have extras in there. Scallop and stitched edged ovals. And I just used the smallest one in the set and cut 2. So I cut one where I stamped my sentiment and one out of some colored cardstock. And then I just layered the colored cardstock kind of offset behind it. Now, you probably already know that I am participating in a card drive with Barely Art Glue. So it is the Cards for Cubs card drive that they do every year, and they collect birthday and encouragement cards for foster children. So I wanted to make sure I had a nice amount of birthday cards to send them, and I thought this paper was nice and cheerful. So it was a happy, nice colors, and I thought this would be cute. Now, on some of the cards, I stamped using some brown ink. So yeah, and then on some I used green, like a lime green, and then on others I used this teal, and then on a few, I'm sure it's in here somewhere, I used pink. And now the card sketch calls for using some cardstock back here as his back layer. So this would be CS1, so cardstock 1. But because I was trying to use up that paper, I decided to use the same pattern paper. So a lot of the pattern paper kind of reads as a solid. And in fact, there was one that was a solid, or one or two that were a solid color in the back. There was a brown solid. Here it is. So this one has this. This is the pattern paper. And so I just cut that and use that as my CS1. And some teal or aqua, this one. So I use that as well. But the rest weren't actually solids, but they read as solids. So for example, behind these bunnies, I used this plaid. It's this one. And I used it as my layer behind there. And so I did that with all of them. So you'll kind of see, if you pay close attention, you'll see some of those patterns behind the pattern paper. And I think they turned out great like that. And I was able to use up all my pattern paper from that paper pad. So they turned out great. And then with the little scraps I had left over, I did add them to the inside of my card. So there was some paper on the inside to coordinate with what was on the front. I tried not to use any of the paper that had like Easter words. There's one or two, in fact this one, that does have like, you know, Happy Easter, hippity hoppity, but because it's kind of in the background, I think it's okay to use as a birthday card. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end. I'd be thrilled if you subscribed to my YouTube channel or followed me on any of my other social media platforms. As always, have a beautiful, safe, and creative day. Thanks for watching. Bye.